personality, it's like fun, upbeat. He is, I don't know how to write eccentric off the top of my head, but he's definitely eccentric, and I'm like, what ended up happening? And then he kind of like awkward when he talks, but he talks with his hands, and he goes one thing after another. So I get one thing after another, and then I just see a random shirt. So someone probably has his clothes after he ends up passing. Eddie. Boom, Kato, out of nowhere. Okay, so this is a sign symbol for suddenly, unexpectedly, and he said out of nowhere. He makes me feel like I'm being pushed down at the chest, like it's a little bit hard to like breathe about it, and it's like pushing me down. Absolutely, he's hilarious. I wasn't sure if it was the right one. Absolutely, he's hilarious. He struggled with addiction. And my aunt, his sister, actually just gave me his shirts. And I'm like, someone has his shirts. And it was one thing after another after another. He's fun, upbeat, eccentric, happy-go-lucky, suddenly out of nowhere. And then what are the chances that this person's not here right away? And this correlates with this reading of addiction that we just did here. Then all of a sudden we can't get Elizabeth in right away, and then bam, Eddie struggled with the same thing. Happy, healthy. I mean, for the most part, you never would have known. He goes, I didn't help myself, Kato. It was a couple things, you know, that and some beers and you know. He goes, just all around not taking care of myself. He goes, but I had a good life. He feels like he did the best he could. Honestly, he's reflecting. He tells me he was very blue collar, had a quality for the life that he had. You know, he had a lot of experiences. He feels really good about it. Oh, he goes, yeah, except for the part where someone finds me. Did someone find him in his place of relaxation? He died. He was a mechanic. Yeah, he seems like a mechanic. His body language. Oh, mechanics, like when they get hooked on that stuff. And of course, being a mechanic. And he said it passed in my place of relaxation, and he passed in his bed. She's like, yes, he passed in his bed. And he even said, I passed in my place of relaxation. He is very clear. Super clear. Weirdly clear, actually. So, who is he to you? He seems like he says like a father figure, but you guys have very similar personalities in the sense that you have the same playfulness. He is your dad. You guys have similar personalities. I really like that. Like a father figure, and you're similar in personalities. Well, I think that narrows it down, huh? I don't know how long he's been passed, and he goes, it doesn't feel like as long as it has been. I'm like, okay, so it probably feels newer, probably feels under 5 years, but it probably is like, how did the time get away from us? How has it been so long? He said, I don't know what he's pertaining to. He sounds like he's your best friend. She says, he's my best friend and I miss him so much. He said, what was I going to say? He said, if you're that worried about it, write it down. Like, if you're that worried about your emotions, if you're that worried about what I think, if you're that worried about telling me something, if you're that worried about, Dad, do you see this? Are you watching? Are you go? Do you know about this? Do you see my first kid do this, that, this? Okay, just tell him about it. Write him a letter. He said he'd totally see that. You're not tapping into. I think that the key is like, you're beautiful. I write letters to him in my notes, and he sees them. He sees them. Why would I be saying this? Why? Okay? Like, he says this. I'm just full of analogies there for you. Maple trees are so beautiful. Oh my gosh, the leaves, the way they turn, the greens, the reds, the yellows, the orange, all in one. Oh my gosh. And like maple trees are so pretty and they're so big and grand and that's not even the best part about maple trees. You know the best part about maple trees is pancakes. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? You're not, with a little bit of creativity, we had maple trees in our front yard. I just work here, okay? I feel like you're a maple tree. I feel like the best is like a little bit of creativity and you could really just like harness that part of you that you feel like is missing. It's not an external journey. You're not just like looking for something you'll never find. Don't do that to yourself. I think you're looking for an internal journey and you're like, there's pancakes here. And that is single-handedly is the weirdest reading I've given all day. I love that.